And showtime. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. Look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I'm the executive editor of the ChannelPro Network and one of your co-hosts on this fine program. With me is my co-host, Eric Simpson, who is CIO and Senior Vice President of SPC International, a business improvement and training organization for managed service providers and other IT providers. Eric, how goes it today?
It goes pretty fantastic, Rich, and I know it's going good for you because you've got a clock that you're working against to get the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We are just hours away from a vacation for me, and I'm broadcasting here from Washington D.C., where I just attended the CompTIA ChannelCon show, which was very productive and a good show, but very, very busy. And I'm looking forward to a little downtime, a little relaxation.
You've earned it. You've earned it.
Thank you, sir. But we've got 5 minutes or thereabouts on this broadcast to do before I've completely earned it. So let's get into our story of the week, which has to do with ConnectWise, a company that we have spoken about before on the 5-Minute Roundup. Now, folks who've been tracking the ConnectWise story over the course of the year will remember that in January they acquired HTG and with it the HTG Peer Group organization. They talked at the time about potential synergies across the rest of the organization. They said a lot of very reassuring things to anyone who was nervous inside the peer group organization that nothing substantial was going to change. And I'll say right up front, nothing announced this week should make anybody frightened that there really is going to be big change coming. But there is sort of the next step in the evolution of ConnectWise and HTG coming together that was announced this week. And some of that is organizational and some of that is really just brand level stuff. So the HTG brand is going away. ConnectWise announced this week that they're pulling together all of their partner-facing events and community activities and peer groups and coaching and training, et cetera. They're pulling all that together into one organization that's going to carry the IT Nation brand. Now, folks who know ConnectWise know that IT Nation has for many years been the name of the event that ConnectWise does for its partners every November. So now they're going to have a whole bunch. They have an organization called the IT Nation organization within ConnectWise. It's headed up by Pete Sorensen, who is the son of Arlen Sorensen, the founder of HTG. They are renaming their the event that used to be known as Automation Nation, which started out as an event associated with the RMM platform, formerly known as LabTech, presently known as ConnectWise Automate. Every June for a number of years, ConnectWise has been doing Automation Nation. That is now IT Nation Explore. The event that we used to know as simply IT Nation is going to be known as IT Nation Connect. The peer group organization is going to be known as IT Nation Evolve. And the ConnectWise partner group, the user groups rather, will be known as IT Nation Share. So they all become part of the IT Nation master brand. As ConnectWise announced some months back too, Automation Nation going forward will be less focused specifically on the RMM platform and really the annual technical event that ConnectWise does. And IT Nation will become more of a business growth, thought leadership kind of event for the folks who own and manage ChannelPros. So, starting to bring together some of these different pieces of the organization into one organization, looking for synergies, looking for ways to share not just a name really, but expertise and opportunities across the board in the partner-facing parts of the ConnectWise organization.
Right. And, I haven't yet received my secret decoder ring, to keep track of all the new branding yet. But, it's just the next evolution of ConnectWise becoming this, this industry leader, as it were. And from a personal perspective, I'm really proud of the work that Arlen and the great folks at HTG have done. We were part of HTG1 when we were one of the first pure play MSPs in the industry way back in the early 2000s. And Arlen asked Gary, our CEO, and myself, my business partner, to fly out and do a training session for the one and only HTG peer group that was in the Midwest at the time. And we spent all day and shared everything we had. And they asked us to step out of the room for a second and then called us back in and said, hey, we'd like you to join our peer group. So we became, part of the first group, and we worked with them for many, many years beyond that, even after we sold our practice and became a training partner for HCG. So it's kudos to the legacy that Arlen, built, his vision and what he's leaving to help ConnectWise partners now really get that strategic guidance and advice to help them build their business from a true business building perspective. So, good on them. That's great news. And I know that it's going to create this, additional value to ConnectWise partnership for their partners. And Arnie's vision is, continuing to impress us as we follow that organization and what they're doing and these connections they're making. And, as we've been talking about the last, the last year here, watching these strategic moves that they've been making. So it's cool to watch.
And the other thing that's kind of cool about it, and this is something that Arnie and Arlen both spoke about back in February, I guess it was, a few weeks after the HTG acquisition, and they made clear that part of what was going on with that acquisition was, they're thinking about legacy, thinking about what happens to ConnectWise, what happens to HTG after Arnie and Arlen have retired. And so it's sort of nice to see Pete Sorensen basically stepping into the kind of role that that Arlen has been in. There was nothing official in this announcement about Arlen retiring, but this is clearly a step in that direction.
Yeah, it's definitely a succession strategy as far as we can tell.
Yeah. So, interesting stuff. Again, I don't see anything in this that should make a member of the former HTG peer groups nervous. They were pretty quick to emphasize in their interview with me that nothing much has really changed in that part of the business since the acquisition. They don't see that changing much going forward. They are going to be looking, they said, for some synergies between the user groups and the peer groups, but not in a way that's really going to change the nature of how the peer groups work. So, a reorganization, a preparation for the future of ConnectWise and the peer groups organization, and just the interesting next chapter in the evolution of that story.
Right. Excellent.
Well, here I am at an event, Eric, and your tip of the week has something to do with events.
Certainly does. It certainly does. So this week's tip of the week are 10 ways to get the most out of your conference attendance. As our viewers know, we're big proponents of learning new and different things, connecting with different people, meeting vendors and subject matter experts, and getting new ideas and fresh thoughts to grow our businesses by attending events like, the events that we just talked about, that ConnectWise puts on. ChannelPro puts on great events to really help foster the growth, to grease the wheels of innovation, if you will, and allow channel partners to come together and really share and learn from each other as much as from the programs that are being presented on stage. And so I've got 10 ways to get the maximum value when you're planning to attend an event. So let's go through them. Top 10 list really quickly. Number 1, define your goals before you go to the event, right? Identify what you believe will make the event attendance successful for you, and then shape your strategy around that and prepare a plan to achieve those goals. Review the agenda, plan to connect with speakers and attendees in advance. In many cases, there's a way for you to connect with them. Some events have online platforms and things like that where you can make connections and make plans, even schedule meetings and things like that. And one of the most forgotten things when I run into partners at these events, Rich, is, I forgot to bring my business cards. Gosh, please print a box, keep it in your getaway bag, and leave it in there for events so that you always have business cards. That is really, really, the number one rule when you're making these connections. Okay, number 2, be visible. Be visible at these events. If possible, apply for a speaker or a panel spot, or be a session facilitator. Get on some panels, get some visibilities, and get some of that PR, get in photos, get in videos. You can use that in your business to improve the perception of your brand in your marketing materials with prospects and clients. And let them know that you're a mover and a shaker, right? You're a go-to business leader that they want to engage with. Number 3, network strategically to build strong partnerships. Look for opportunities to partner with other attendees for business and identify the vendors you want to speak with during vendor showcases. Again, define those goals and go after them. So make the right connections, identify opportunities to do business with each other while you're there. A lot of the value that comes in attending these types of events are those hallway conversations and those happenstance meetings. Well, be intentional about that and building your professional network. Number 4, attend the right sessions. Pick a primary and an alternate session, and don't be afraid to leave a session that's not delivering the value you want it to for your time. So, be very, have that alternate session in mind, so that if you're not getting what you need out of one session, not what you expected, you can jump into the other session. Don't feel bad about leaving. You're there to get what you need. Number 5, connect with the speakers. These are the subject matter experts that can fast track you to results and have all the connections. So make sure that you're connecting with these speakers. And again, remember, you've got to bring business cards in order for this to be an effective strategy. Number 6, make a plan to take action on what you learn when you get back to the office, right? So many times, I see partners come back and they do what I call the seagull, Rich, where they come back and they just drop all the pamphlets and information on their lead engineer's desk or whatever and say, guys, I saw all this great stuff. I want you guys to go figure it out and get it done. Come on now. If you're not leading and being very specific about the strategy of what you want them to do and how you want them to do it, seagulling doesn't help anybody. Just flying over and dropping stuff on people, right? So number 7, make it a point to attend the social events. I know how tough this is for some of the tried and true engineers, even for myself. I'm not the kind of person that gets out there and is the life of the party and things like that. But when I'm at events or when I'm speaking, I make it a point to attend those social events, those mixers and things like that. This is what solidifies those new relationships and fosters even more introductions and conversation when everybody's loosened up a little bit, and it really accelerates those strategic business partnerships. Number 8, while you're there, don't be distracted by work. Be present in order to get the best ROI. And I know that's tough for some of us where, we're getting pinged by the office or we're taking care of fires and things like that. But this goes back to that planning before you attend the event. Try to cover that stuff so that you can focus and get the maximum ROI in exchange for the investment you're making to travel and be there and away from the office. So it pays off for you. Number 9, follow up after the conference with your new connections and link to them via social media. The ones that you haven't linked to before the conference, all these new folks that you're meeting, guess what? They're getting tons of email in their inbox after every event. Try to connect with them through social media, LinkedIn, things like that. People tend to respond quicker through LinkedIn because it's not such a spam hole as our inboxes have become lately. So if you really want to connect with somebody, connect with them in every way possible, and you lead the follow-up and stay after them if they're not responding. And don't think they're blowing you off. We're all busy, okay? Finally, number 10, let others know of what and who you found valuable at the conference via social media. Be visible to the conference promoters, the vendors, the speakers, and the new business partners you've met. All of these things will help you get more ROI, create visibility for you, and other opportunities to become even more visible during these events and really become that strategic go-to partner that folks really want to engage with.
That is a great list. Speaking as a guy who goes to a lot of events, I can say that's a really great list. I will add 2 more, and there's sort of don'ts that I've come across going to events. And one is, don't spend all of your time in sessions. I mean, by all means, take advantage of the sessions at the event. But everyone I know who goes to events, even semi-regularly, says that some of the best value, the biggest value they get from the event is it comes from spontaneous hallway conversations. So, you know, be open to having spontaneous open hallway conversations with people you don't necessarily know. You don't want to spend all of your time borrowed away in the sessions. And then the other thing is, don't spend all of your time sightseeing around town. You know, you're in Las Vegas, you're in New Orleans. Great, take advantage of that, but don't sort of pretend that you went to a conference and then spend 60% of your time somewhere else having fun. If you're going to be there, you know, really get some value out of that time that you've invested in, and be present, as you said, and attentive at the event.
Good ones. I'm going to update my list, Rich.
All right. Well, we have got time for just one more story here. And, you know, this is just something I read about. I wouldn't know anything about this personally, Eric. I don't know about you. But according to a study that was actually done about 6 months ago by Finder.com, nearly half of Americans regularly make purchases online while drinking. Now, a newer study that just came out with in the past few days kind of followed up on that and found that Americans who do shop online while under the influence spend, on average, $40 more than they would otherwise. And these guys, they broke it out. The folks who drink gin spend the most, $82 more than they would have otherwise. If you're drinking gin and shopping online, it's going to cost you, folks.
Grandma.
It explains a lot, doesn't it? Explains a lot on that credit card bill.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really funny. And they also broke it down through a few more spirits. What do you got?
Oh, I see here. Yeah, there's a whole infographic on this. Rum, maybe not a big surprise. Rum comes after gin at $53.88 extra on average than vodka. Whiskey, a mere $38.84 extra. So that's actually below average. If you're looking for the safest alcoholic beverage to drink while shopping online, you want to go with Scotch.
Yeah, yep. And I'm a whiskey guy, and that's why I do all my shopping before I start hammering the whiskey.
Probably the wisest plan of all, I would say. Well, that is all that we've got time for this week on the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. Thank you very much for joining us. If you like the show, you'd like to keep up with it, see future episodes, take a look at past episodes, please subscribe to the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube. We'll get you all the information there. Also, please visit ChannelProNetwork.com for all sorts of content on ConnectWise and managed services and the industry and industry events. We've got new stuff going up there every day. If you want to learn more about SPC International and the great work that Eric and his team do over there, you want to go to consulting.spc-intl.com. That's consulting.spc-intl.com. We will be back next week after my vacation with another episode of the 5-Minute Roundup. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Eric and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.